Team and leadership strategy is the heart of it. Your team and how you lead them is the heart, the beating heart of your business. It is such a critical area. And the first thing I want to talk about, look, in terms of talking about team and leadership, we could talk about all the actions and things that have to happen in terms of how you recruit, how you onboard, how you induct, how you retain, all of those things about slow and hiring fast. All of that, we could talk forever on lots of the doingness of leading a team and building a team. But I'd rather talk about what underlies a successful team, which is fundamentally its leader and leadership. So what's your definition of leadership? A lot of people have leadership collapsed with power, where they actually think leadership is about power and having a power play happen amongst their team. It's not about power. Other people think leadership is about is doership, where they've just got to do lots of stuff and demonstrate to their team that they're the ones that can do it all. That's also not it. In my experience, having led teams, teeny weeny teams that were starting out and blossoming and growing, through to being the CEO of a $100 million company, through to leading volunteer teams across 3 countries for my nonprofit, what I have experienced around leadership is that for me, the definition of leadership is found in your ability to empower other leaders around you. I can walk into any enterprise and I know if the leadership is strong based on the quality of the leaders surrounding the leader. So my definition of leadership is to set out to actually empower leaders around you. So that takes something. You have to be willing to have people come in that are better than you at lots of different things. And what we want to do as a leader is, if that's what we're committed to, is empowering other leaders around us, then we need to build a culture that has some really neat aspects to it. One being, it's a culture of cooperation. And there are some keys to cooperation. There's 3 keys. One is brightness of the future. The team has to have something to look forward to. They have to have something to be living into, which is why your business strategy and everything we've talked about so far is critical. People need a vision. They need a place to go. They need something to hang their hat on and drive forward for. So that gives them the brightness of the future. Also, the brightness of the future in their career. Is there a pathway for them in this business? Are they learning and developing? That's actually gives people brightness of the future as well. So there's lots of ways to create brightness of the future. The second key to cooperation is frequency of interaction. If you have a team member, a leader, say, that you barely speak to, you let them run on their own devices, that's great. That's certainly something many leaders like that, but it can often be misconstrued as a lack of interest or a lack of care, and that soon means people's passion dissipates. So we have to have a frequency of interaction with our team and with our leaders. We need to be, particularly in times like this, we need to be in regular positive communication. And the third key to cooperation is be provocable. Don't be a wimp. So people have to have the ability to be provocable, to get a result, to cause something, to shift something. And I don't mean run around and be specifically out to be provocative. I mean be provocable when things aren't working or aren't working as well as we'd like them to do something about it. Be provocable for something. So those are some keys to cooperation. The ultimate aim of a leader and the ultimate aim of a culture is to create the magic sauce. The magic sauce is called synergy. That's what we're really out to build, is this outcome called synergy, where the sum of the whole is greater than the individual parts. So 1 + 1 should equal 2. Actually, with synergy, 1 + 1 = 3 or beyond. Where each of the individuals in the team, when they come together and there's this magic sauce called synergy happens, that team can do far more than it looked like it could do on paper. Any championship team actually experiences synergy. So that's what, as a leader, you're out to build. You're out to get an environment of synergy. And to do that, as I said, you've got to have a culture of cooperation. You've also got to have a culture of personal responsibility. People playing above the line, responsible, versus below the line, justify, excuse, deny, shame, guilt, all of that blame, all of that stuff. We can't have a culture like that. We've got to have a culture that's above the line, which means as leaders, we have to own everything that happens in that business, how it happened, why it happened, and then what to do about it to make corrections. So those are critically important. And the keys to synergy, there's 7 major keys to synergy. The first one is to have a culture where people can be heard. So you have to be willing to listen actively. We have to allow people to speak up. It's our own intuition to do that. There are often absolute gems on a team, people who know what to do to fix whatever problem that team might be experiencing or the business might be experiencing, but they won't speak up for fear of being ridiculed or fear of making a mistake, or just they'd rather stay safe and not share. So we need to create an environment where people can speak up and they can trust their intuition and actually share. The third key to synergy is to have a flexible, and we have to be flexible with each other. The fourth is to be able to tell the truth with compassion on a team. The fifth is to agree, meaning we commit to resolution, not compromise, resolution, where every party feels good about what's happening. You know, in some cases that's going to be challenging, but if you commit to resolution and you agree to agree, it can happen and it will happen. The sixth thing is who's on the team. We have to be looking, when you go to hire, sometimes people are so desperate they'll just hire a person with some vague skill set and a pulse. We don't want that. We've got to be hiring the right person for the right role who wants to go in the right direction with us. And what you want to look at is you want to look at the mix of your current team, the capacity of the current team, and the skills that are across that current team. And you're looking to hire to lift all of that and help again build some synergy in that culture. And the seventh key to synergy is rules of the game, having actual agreements about how we operate as a team, being very clear about what's cool, what's not cool, expectations, how we operate together, and that is laid out so everybody's clear, there's no question about that. So those 7 keys to synergy, the 3 keys to cooperation, and a different definition of leadership is really what we're after to get the most out of your team and leadership strategy. And fundamentally, this team and leadership strategy, your team is the beating heart of your business. You have to treat it as such. You have to treat it with that import. And really, the key is also to be interested versus interesting. You want to be interested in your team's opinions. You want to be interested in what's happening for them. And in that way, they get a sense of belonging. People will take belonging over money all day, every day. So that's been proven time and time again. So really, again, thinking of your team as the beating heart of your business, the lifeblood of your business, and treating them with that respect, and then leading by demonstration and with the intention to empower other leaders around you, creating a culture of cooperation, creating a culture of responsibility, and getting that magic sauce called synergy happening. Another way to look at who you really want to be as a leader is to look out in the world and look for people who you admire or respect as leaders. They don't have to be in your field. They don't have to be in your business. They can be outside completely. They could be sporting heroes. They could be politicians. They could be artists. They could be other entrepreneurs. They could be in the military. Who knows? But they could be in your own family. Look for people who are leaders. Specifically, look for 3. Look for 3 leaders from different walks of life that you respect and admire. And then write down and really think about, what are the characteristics? Why do you admire them? What are their characteristics that you admire? You will see a theme across the 3 that you pick, I promise you. And then what you want to do to develop your own leadership is actually practice emulating those characteristics yourself. Leadership is something that can be developed. There is natural leadership, of course, and it has that natural charisma to it, but you can absolutely develop yourself as a leader, and you should, because the business will never outstrip your leadership. So look for 3 people you respect and admire, identify the characteristics that has you admire them, and then practice emulating those characteristics. You won't always get it right, but you'll certainly be closer to the leader you really want to be and your business needs you to be if you were to emulate those qualities. So that's one thing. The other thing is that there is a rhythm to results. There is a rhythm to having a team produce results. There is a rhythm to results. So what I mean by that is there is a leadership rhythm that needs to be built in to every business. So say, for example, in one of our businesses, we have a leadership rhythm that says we do a 2-day offsite with our team to come up with what are our goals for this year, what are our key strategies. We go through all the 9 points. And we do that as a team to get really aligned on what needs to happen in every key area of the business. Then what we do is we have a 1 day once a quarter, generally inside the business. And then we have a half a day once a month, and we have 1 hour once a week. And then we do also do 10-minute daily huddles in the morning. So that's a leadership rhythm that works for that particular business. You have to map out a leadership rhythm that works, where team members and leaders are getting to interact, getting to input, really creating that space of alignment and synergy. So again, your team and leadership strategy and everything that it encompasses is so important to the success of your business. It can't be treated like many business owners treat it, which is that team members are a problem. I've interviewed so many, spoken on stages all over the world and said, what's the greatest challenge you have in the business? And mostly people will say, our people, my team, they're a nightmare. I've heard people refer to it as adult daycare. Okay, that is not the way to look at this group of people. This group of people is the beating heart of your business, and you need to give them that care and respect such that they will return the same for you.